Good evening, Glasgow, and welcome to Back to School Night 2021. If you would like this video translated, please pause the video now and follow the directions on the screen. Welcome to journalism. My name is Ms Grillo, and I'll be teaching your child this year. There are 3 classes in the journalism program. We have media communications, otherwise known as the broadcast news team, and Good Morning Glasgow. Also Journalism 1, which will consist of a lot of different parts of journalism, including our very own published website newspaper called The Panther Post. Also is the yearbook classes. Take a moment to just learn a little bit about your teacher this year, Ms Grillo. This is my 4th year here at Glasgow, and I've been lucky enough to be in the English and History departments and now electives. I can't wait to take what I've learned throughout my years of being an English and History teacher and combine them together to really teach your students about journalism. It's my 10th year here at Fairfax, and I've taught 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. I graduated from a really small college in New York with my bachelor's degree, and then continued on with my master's of education from George Mason University. I also have an endorsement in advanced academics. I really enjoy challenging students and helping them to think critically. I'm also a color guard instructor at Mount Vernon High School, which is also in Fairfax County over near Route 1, where I teach students dance and various parts of color guard. Here at Glasgow, I have quite a few hats. I'm a lead mentor and an instructional technology team, and part of the lead here in the electives department. In my personal life, I grew up in Western New York, south of Buffalo and Rochester, in a really tiny town. Really craved diversity and something more, which brought me to Northern Virginia, oh goodness, about 15 years ago. I love to read, write, travel. I adore my students. I am a little bit nerdy. I'm obsessed with dressing up in costume, sports, dancing, Harry Potter. You'll see lots of Harry Potter paraphernalia around the room. I do live with my husband named Jeremy. We've been together for a long time, but married for 4 years. My sister, Corey, you can see us in the picture down at the bottom. We went to an 80s prom, which was really fun. That was this summer. And my 2 kitty cats, Merlin and Mr. Ollivander Scamander, or Ollie for short. A little bit about my teaching philosophy. First and foremost, I really believe that students learn best when they have academic choice. I want them to choose what they're excited about. Now, often that means they choose the way they learn, or what they learn, or the product that they produce. I also want to make sure they feel safe and welcome. It's really important in a school this size that they feel a really part of our community and that they make sure that they feel safe in my classroom. I also hope that they think positively, not only about themselves, but their peers and what they're learning. I want them to possess an intrinsic love of learning. I don't want them to just want to get a good grade. I hope that they really get hungry for learning about current events, the journalism process, and just really digging deep into all the possibilities that this world gives them. I also hope that they feel appreciated and important. I care deeply about every single one of my students, and I want them to know that. Finally, I hope that they feel challenged. As I mentioned before, being an advanced academics teacher for so long, I really want to push my students to grow outside of what they think is possible, because really the sky is the limit. And one more thing, I want to provide them opportunities to work together in collaborative groups. Journalism is rarely a sole activity. We want to make sure that they're working together to create this awesome yearbook or news website or the broadcast news. I also believe that to be successful, students need to do a few core things. The first is to have an open mind and to challenge themselves. I've already talked to all the students in class about stepping out of their comfort zones. I'm going to push them a little bit. I want to make sure that they're really pushing themselves forward to make sure that they can be the best they can be. I also need to ask them to work hard. It is an electives class, and we're going to have a lot of fun, but they also have to work hard. They do need to stay organized and adhere to deadlines. A big part about journalism is that current events are only current for so long. So if it's a newspaper they're writing for, they need to publish some articles rather quickly. Yearbook has all sorts of deadlines. The morning news show is going to be every day. So all of these things are important. They all need to pull their weight and do their part. And finally, ask questions. I try to really have an open classroom where students aren't afraid to ask me anything, to take risks, and to also rely on each other because this is a group effort. In journalism, we're going to be doing a lot of things. And to be honest, I want the students to shape some of those things. But within those things, here are some of the things that we're going to be talking about. The publication and journalism skills, just basics. Also, that includes the history of journalism and how it relates to us today. Research and investigation. That's what journalism is all about. Students will be asking other students about things that are important to them. They'll be conducting surveys. They'll be interviewing people in our community, our teachers, our staff. Of course, we're going to be working on a lot of writing, whether it's a script or an article, that's going to be part of the curriculum. We're also going to get the chance to design things, whether that's the website or parts of the yearbook. Photojournalism, of course, this is super important. Whether it's the yearbook or the website or on the morning news show, everything is going to be student created. We're not going to borrow things off the internet. We're going to create everything that you see. Public speaking. When surveying the students in class, this might be the hardest and most challenging things for some of them, but we're going to work on their public speaking skills and make sure that they're working towards, being able to deliver a really, really good presentation. We also are going to make sure we can distinguish between fact and opinion, which is a really important part of journalism. And of course, those techie students are super excited about video and photo editing. Finally, we're going to study and analyze current events. This is part of the history and the English and the analysis that will help them to think creatively and critically. How do grading and assessments work? Well, we are an IB school, so we're going to continue with that process. Formative assessments are checks for understanding during the learning process. They could be in-class work, drafts of publications that they're working on, some exit tickets to check for some of their understanding and learning. And then we have summative assessments. They will be weighted much heavier when it comes to SIS in the gradebook. This is where they make judgments about what content and skills that we have learned. This could be a published writing article or a news broadcast or part of a yearbook spread. Teacher support. I'm all about supporting my students. Schoology is going to be our main hub for communication this year. In Schoology, you'll find period-specific classroom information. All assignments, lessons, and resources will be housed in Schoology. The greatest part is parents can get their own account and you can see everything that we're learning and doing, including deadlines. In Schoology, also my contact information will be. My after school hours this year are going to be on Wednesdays from 2:25 to 3:25 during the academic time. We're also going to have a journalism after school club. So if students want to stay for that and get to know other students that are in the different classes or around Glasgow, I invite them to do that. That will be Wednesdays during the activities time. My contact information. Here's my email, rngrillo1@fcps.edu. And here's my direct line to the phone here in the classroom. To support your child this year, it's pretty basic. Ask them questions. Don't be afraid to engage in finding out what they're learning here in class. You can ask something like, what are you learning? Or show me your latest project. Assignments, check Schoology, like I said, for deadlines. They're all going to be there. I'm going to assign deadlines to everything. Make sure that they have a quiet place to work. We will be using technology a lot in class. So of course they have their own personal devices provided by Glasgow, But in addition to that, if they have other things like a cell phone or an iPad that they want to use, we're also going to be using cameras that are provided by the school. So we're going to be learning how to use all of those things appropriately. So just make sure that they know that. Tell me, how does your child learn best? Please be in communication with me. I welcome emails and phone calls, and it's super important to me to get to know not just the child, but their family and where they're coming from. And finally, visit the Panther Post. Panther Post is gmspantherpost.org, and that's going to house a lot of things. It's going to have photos that the students are taking, whether they're in the yearbook class or the journalism class. It's going to have broadcast news segments that everyone is creating. So the Panther Post is really going to be the place where you can see our work. Again, the students are super excited about this. They are going to become published authors, and their photographs are going to be published, and their broadcasts are going to be seen by many. So again, that's gmspantherpost.org. Supplies for this class is pretty simple. They're mainly just going to need their computers. Again, if your child has a cell phone or iPad, I'm totally cool with having them bring it to class. I think it's important. We don't have enough cameras for everyone to have one. So as long as you're okay with it and they follow FCPS guidelines, they are allowed to use those in class. We're really looking forward to a great year. I am beyond excited about teaching this curriculum and really getting to know the students and just making this huge community that we have here at Glasgow feel a little bit smaller. I want the kids to own this. I want them to have fun. I want them to be leaders of the school. I really want them to represent this population and who we truly are here at Glasgow. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.